Hi, I'm Ward, and welcome to my channel, Ward Draws a Lot. I've been itching to draw an OC lately, and sometimes trying to come up with an OC with no inspiration can be way more difficult than it should. But if there's one thing that inspires me almost all the time, it's food. Specifically, the thing that I was drinking as I was drawing this character right here, which was my Cocoa Cream Wow Boba that I got while I was at the mall. Believe it or not, a lot of the time whenever I'm doing these digital videos, I'm actually not at home. I'm at the mall. Since I'm there anyway because of my brother's job and the way things work out in life for us, I'm there left waiting a lot of the time for a while, so that's when I take advantage of that time and draw out the video and record it, or screen record it on my iPad. Even though I'm left there for a while and I sit down and I try and think about what to draw, sometimes it can be pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie, because there's not much to inspire me while I'm there. But this time something hit me like a ton of bricks right to the back of my head, and it was like, hey, why don't you just draw the drink that you have next to you? And I was like, you know what, brain, you're onto something here. Okay, now that you have a backstory on that, let me tell you about the drink. Like I said earlier, this drink was called the Cocoa Cream Wow, and I think you can get them at any boba spot, but the one that I went to was Kung Fu Tea. Here is a picture of the drink that ultimately inspired this entire video. Now, it's made a certain way, right? You have the boba, which is tapioca pearls at the bottom, but they are specifically, I believe, brown sugar pearls, right? So they have that nice sweet flavor to them. Then they also have the milk, the cocoa powder that's sprinkled on top, along with ice so it's nice and cool, ultimately making a nice sweet creamy drink that I literally cannot get enough of. I have a problem. Now, what I wanted to do for this character, right, I took all those characteristics that I wrote down and I looked back at the reference, which was the boba, and I made sure that not only were the descriptory things somehow involved, or the colors of them, but also the order itself. I don't do too much different from what it originally is, but what I love to do is add extra boba. You see, extra boba means that it's going to have more brown sugar syrup in it, right? Because it's cooked with the brown sugar, which means I'm going to be getting a sweeter drink. And since I have a huge sweet tooth, my little brain gets a large rush of dopamine and happiness because of the drink. So with that being said, I really wanted to make sure that the thing that I like to put in the drink that is extra, I somehow add to the character. So I want to further explain the boba and how I kind of took inspiration from it. The primary colors in this drink are a kind of creamy color because of the milk, but it's also tanned a little bit, right, because of the brown sugar syrup. Then you also have a really dark brown or black because of the tapioca pearls. And last but not least, you also have the cocoa color from the cocoa powder that is dusted on top to help give that cocoa flavor. Now that I have all three of those colors that are mainly going to be what I'm working with in this drawing, I'm definitely going to be sticking to them with this color palette as I'm coloring him in. Once I kind of formed up all the characteristics of the drink and began to apply them to the character, I also wanted to apply it to the personality of the character too. So I went onto the Kung Fu Tea website out of curiosity, and I looked up what their most popular drinks were. So sadly, they don't have like a list that goes drink number 1, 2, 3, but they do have a section called best sellers. So like for example, their milk tea is one of their best sellers, and then there's like 3 different ones that they gave. They gave like the Kung Fu milk tea, the coconut milk tea, and the winter melon milk tea as like, I'm guessing, the top of the milk tea section, you know what I'm saying? So for the Cocoa Cream Wow, it's considered a milk cap tea, and it was, of the 3 of them, number 1, so it was like Cocoa Cream Wow, then under something called the honey tea cap and the winter melon tea cap. So I'm guessing that's just how they rank them by which drink type it is, and then they go on from there. So using that information, I decided to kind of play that along with this character right here, that they are somebody who is fairly liked and fairly popular, along with, since they are, you know, one of the more liked drinks, they're kind of a little bit more expressive and out there more because they can be, you know what I mean? It's weird to say, but sometimes if you are more popular in a certain setting, people of that setting would be more willing to let you express yourself more freely because of your popularity. And I know that sounds weird, but like, it's a genuine thing that I think actually happens. I don't know if it's like a psychological thing or how it works, but I've noticed that too, is like, if someone is more popular and let's say they do a trend or they dress a certain way or they carry themselves in a certain manner, a lot of the time a majority of the people who like that person for their popularity will be much more open to accepting them because of the amount of people that actually like them, you know what I mean? So, okay, let me try and put this in terms that I can understand myself, because now I'm getting lost, and if I'm getting lost, you're getting lost, you know what I mean? I don't want anybody lost. Everybody come back to the building. So, if this character is popular enough, the weight of what they do will weigh more on people, and they will have a bigger sway on them, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. So this character has a large pull because of their popularity, which kind of makes sense. If you see something that has a lot of people liking it, then more people will be more willing to accept or like it because of its popularity. You get what I'm saying? I hope so, because I know that was like weirdly worded. Sometimes I'm not very good with wording things, but that was the best way I could put it. Anyway, let's circle back around to the character, because now I'm getting lost with my own character. So, we have the characteristic that, number one, they are popular. Number two, since I put extra boba in the drink, I decided to make the character extra. Now, I don't know how familiar a lot of you are with the term extra, but to put it frank, a lot of the time it just means you're being excessive or unnecessary or over the top, right? But although that has like a negative connotation to it, I don't want to use it in a negative manner for this character. I want to use it in a positive one. So the excessiveness comes from things like maybe the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they walk, and overall just carry themselves in that vibe. They are supposed to be more than life itself, or, you know, like the star of the show, basically one of the main characters. That's my whole point, is like, I wanted to make this character very different from everybody else because of the popularity, but also because this drink is specific to my order, right? So because they're much more specific, I have the ability to kind of narrow down what I'd like the character to be compared to the base Cocoa Cream Wow, which probably would have been a different character than this one, because that one isn't nearly as sweet as this one would be, and it doesn't have the extra additives to it and stuff like that. So I feel like that really can amp up a character in a certain way because the extras are there. Now, because of this personality that I decided to give this character, I also wanted to make sure that their clothing kind of went along with it as well. The color palette that I mentioned earlier, which was like a creamy color / tan, the brown, and the black, all have to be involved in this drawing somehow. It's kind of like a challenge I give myself as well. So, how do I manage to take those colors, which are usually pretty mundane colors, and then make them a little bit more expressive in an outfit? We'll start off with the jacket, right? So I didn't know what kind of jacket I wanted to do, but I know I wanted to somehow incorporate like the shape of the Boba pearls in there. So as I was going through my memory banks, I kind of remember seeing something along the lines of a fringe top, right? They were really popular like back in the 70s. I don't know if they're as if they're as popular now as back then, or if they're coming back into style. I really haven't been seeing anybody wearing fringe as of late, so I don't know. But I would think that since this character is popular enough, maybe they would have that like sway on people to kind of bring fringe back wherever their environment is, right? So I thought that doing that would kind of push further the character, that they want to not only like fashion, but bring it to people who don't do it as often, you know what I'm saying? So they're trying to bring back fringe. Then they have a simple black t-shirt under it, almost like a tank top kind of thing going on. So this way the shirt doesn't take away from the top, because it is the main piece of the outfit, you know what I'm saying? You don't want something too loud under something that's already loud, because you want the loud thing on top to stand out. I hope you guys or like keeping track with what I'm saying, because sometimes I don't even keep track. I'm sorry. But yeah, basically a muted top under with a choker to kind of, blend that in a little bit better and make the top stand out. Then we have the pants that I wanted to make sure I incorporated the cream color because of the milk in the drink. And I feel like that color kind of really helped stand out in comparison to the rest of the fit, because it is much more of a brown and dark at the top, but then on the bottom you have a nice light, almost creamy khaki color going on. And I made it high-waisted because I just feel like that's also coming into style a lot of the time now, and the shirt is tucked in. So I feel like since those elements are coming back, kind of, very 70s again, but because of those elements that are coming back, I really wanted to put them together. Then we also have the final tidbits of the outfit, which are like the accessories. So you have the gloves, and I thought of the gloves because the whole point of the boba cup, right? You have it sealed at the top, so you can like kind of stab the straw through, right? So I thought, why don't we kind of put gloves on to kind of make it like a seal, right? Almost like kind of bringing that together. I know that like that's super far-fetched, but that's the way my brain interpreted it, and that's kind of cool that we all can interpret like things differently when we're creating a character like this. I wonder how different people would make their Cocoa Cream Wow character, because that would be pretty cool to see how many different artists can interpret a drink like that and then what they would do with it, because that's like super cool the way we all think differently. But yeah, so we also have the belt, which is a simple black belt with gold on it, because the gold kind of goes well with brown colors, you know what I mean, because of the way it like shades down. It uses some browns and oranges to kind of like merge that all nicely together. And then I also gave him a boba earring, but it's a gold one instead of a black one, because I wanted something to match the gold element. I didn't want there just to be like one gold piece standing out. I feel like it would just make sense if there's more than one piece of jewelry in the piece, or in any piece that I do, really. I feel like there should be something matching. Then we also have the little earrings that are just plain black earrings that he's wearing, and I really like the way everything came together for that. When it came to shading, I really wanted to keep it simple. I personally, sometimes I'll use purple to shade, sometimes I'll use darker versions of the color to shade that is like already there. Like if something's brown, I'll use a darker brown. If it's pink, I'll use a darker pink. That's just kind of like what I like to do because I'm used to doing it with markers, so it kind of makes sense to me when I'm doing it digitally. So when I came to do his face, I wanted to keep it very cohesive and give him like a very nice brown eyeshadow look to him to kind of also, help form everything together. I feel like when your eyeshadow matches your outfit, I feel like things just go so well. I don't know if you guys wear eyeshadow or not, but when I do, like, I love how it looks with the outfit and how everything looks cohesive. It makes my brain so happy. So there's that element with it. The blush, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't extremely overbearing, but at the same time it kind of stood out, and especially against his skin tone. And because it's such a neutral skin tone, that the blush would look a little bit more red, and I kind of like that again because it was along the lines of the brown family of colors, you know what I'm saying? And then of course the lipstick that he's wearing is a much darker brown to kind of help push through with that and also match the top. And I absolutely love the way his face came out. I think it's so pretty. The hair was some really simple shading. When I look at it now though, I think that if I would have done like a light brown instead in the hair, that kind of would have maybe helped push through even more. But I kind of like the way that it looks with the black and gray there to kind of help make it look like the really curly bits are standing out. So I do end up liking it anyway. Oh, and I completely forgot to mention, this character is, as you could tell, a little bit on the heavier side, and I think I made the booba too big, I'm not gonna lie, but I thought to myself, well, if there's extra boba in there and the cup is a little heavier, maybe I should make the character a little bit heavier set, which is why you don't see a tiny waist, and they are a little bit wider, and their pants do kind of like shift in at the bottom of their waist. So I thought that was a nice little element that I threw in that kind of made sense to me. Then finally, for the background, what I decided to do was do this giant boba behind them. And it's, again, a very dark brown boba, and it's very shiny because of the way the light reflects off of it. Overall, though, I really love how this piece came out. I think this is an awesome character, and I kind of might want to do this again with another boba drink in the future. Once I stop obsessing over this one, of course. So yeah, thanks for watching, and remember I love you. Bye.